The scene is set for Perth by night. Just going to mute there because we're getting an echo. The scene is set for Perth by night, and the Primogen Council have mostly assembled. There are a few individuals who are running late. The council's been kind enough to wait a little while, but as we come up on the half-hour mark, it seems that they're ready to move on. And, well, whether on an individual level anyone wants to perceive this as a slight or be happy that there's going to be less opposition potentially to any motions they try and put through. We'll see.
Well, glad that at least 3 Primogen have made it.
No, never disappoint you, my friends.
Well,
And, go ahead, sorry.
no. I was just, well, it seems that we only get full Primogen Council when we're expecting to vote in a new prince.
Well, I'm hoping we have neither any Primogen staked this Primogen Council meeting, or have any more unfortunate things happen to Primogen.
Well, I don't think that's to be highly likely. So, 2 bits of business. The first one, I'm going to get feedback, but since I've talked to all of you, I'm pretty sure all the people here now. I'm pretty sure I know what feedback to expect. It's my general thought that, given their numbers and how well they've already been acting in service to the city, that the gang will deserve a Primogen seat. But does anyone have any objections to them having such a seat?
I'd like to hear opinions. And Hannibal looks to Mr. Dutta first.
I have no objection. However, Mr. Creed is the highest of status amongst them. He might end up joining the council. However, I would suggest if anyone does have any strong reservations, we could always move forward with a observer seat, so they wouldn't have any vote, but could respectfully say things and such. But at this point, I have no objections.
I don't think anyone would dare to deny Mr. Creed a seat in this council.
Well, possibly members of his own clan, but that's an internal clan matter.
That's not my business. I'm not supposed to know what goes on in people's head.
Rafat's kind of gives him just a smile.
Hannibal probably smiles, but who knows with the Nosferatu.
And how about you, Mr. Hallowell? Do you have any strong opinions one way or the other?
No, I think people who have a presence in the city should be able to speak as long as it is in the best interest of their clan. However, just a point of reference, I think it's highly disrespectful that all the Primogen aren't here, since this is your first Primogen meeting.
Well, second, I suppose, to get technical.
Oh.
It is, though, quite disappointing.
Yes, I'm certain that many of them wish they were here right now.
Oh, they will.
And if not, they will doubtlessly retroactively wish. So there's that. The other thing that I have to bring before the council is who I intend to place in each of the positions. First and foremost, as seneschal, I intend to place Hannibal.
Let me make a performance roll to see if I can fake surprise. Yeah, not so good. Just one success. Be like, that's a great honor, my prince.
It's a great honor. You shall look so surprised.
Well, does anyone have any objections to him, or does it
I
all?
have no
He
objection.
looks to Rafat as he says, "I
I,
have."
I no objections. However, I would wish to have a quiet word with the Prince and the prospective Seneschal after the meeting. Just a matter that needs to be tied up.
Of course.
Of course.
For the next position, that of Scourge, my current plan is to make Valiente the Scourge.
On behalf of Mr. Valente, who cannot be here tonight, he would graciously accept this offer and serve you well, my prince. Make us proud.
All right, and any objections to him as Scourge?
No objections. I just think it's in bad form to accept an honor if you're not here to actually receive it.
Well, keep in mind this is me putting my suggestion up and letting the Primogen Council vote on it. I will of course make a private offer to him later.
I support the notion. Valiente is one of the liberators, and although he's not always necessarily mingling socially, whenever push comes to shove, he's always shoving.
Doesn't need to.
All right, and finally, for Keeper of Elysium, I would like to suggest Rafat Duda for the position.
Hannibal looks over to Rafat, kind of narrows his eyes for a moment. Natural choice, my prince.
I thought you'd see it that way. Well, I'm most amenable.
And given the nature of things, if we end up expanding the resources of the city to the point where we have multiple Elysia, we might actually have multiple keepers of that Elysium, of those Elysia.
That would be great. My prince, if I may, and he raises his hand.
Mm-hmm.
I would have a suggestion for another position.
Oh, which position is that?
There has been talks that the position of counselor, someone to keep track of things.
Yes, Chancellor. Or wait, are you talking about
what's the
Chancellor.
Yeah,
Chancellor.
I would actually like to suggest someone for this. Mr. Halliwell, I think, would make a great chancellor.
Well, until such time as we have a wider court, that's not a horrible idea. Does anyone have any objection to this? And at this point, I presume we start hearing violin music.
The fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Someone brought music?
Hang on, I think I recognize that.
Yeah, it's horrible.
I assume that's his reason for being late.
And as Jonathan Backer will simply enter the whole violin and really more in touch with the music and the flow it's going for, more concentrating on the grace of the tune and the tween, as he is less informed about where he is, and more importantly in what he is doing. And as he somewhat controls himself, I'm going to spend a willpower point so I can control myself. He looks around and, oh, we're doing this right now. Oh,
We
we're
have
doing
been for a little
that,
while,
right?
I'm afraid.
He puts the violin case down, puts the wooden part on the table. So how we doing here down this fine night, gentlemen?
So
Well,
far, good.
yeah. So far, we've confirmed two people positions. Hannibal will be my seneschal. Rafat will be keeper of Elysium. And provided that Valiente accepts the offer, everyone is okay so far with him being Scourge. Also,
Mr. Who?
the gang will be receiving a Primogen seat, which of course they will determine among themselves who holds it.
If any.
One more vote from the Pharaohs, and they ain't gonna tip that much.
And Hannibal just suggested that Hannibal would make a very good chancellor.
Halliwell, he said Halliwell.
Oh, Halliwell, sorry, my bad.
Oh, I was about to say, Hannibal is using himself his own position. That'd be kind of suspicious.
And honestly, I think Halliwell could probably do the job of chancellor fairly well.
Chancellor position. Yeah, that's the one where you can look at all the books pretty darn quickly.
People have to go to yourself or obviously the Prince or the Seneschal to get boons recorded, not the Harpies when we have them again. Harpies enforce. The Chancellor keeps the record.
Well, I suppose the man who can afford not to directly get into any conflicts, as cowardly a nature that be, would make an excellent banker.
At least, good sir, I can show up on time for Primogen meetings.
Yeah.
But, you know, all of the, how should we say, tit for tats aside, I'll be more than happy to.
Do you have any more? I think that matter is largely resolved with some amount of dissent. But do you have any more positions you would like to discuss, or can we open up for broader business?
Just for the future, this isn't something that I think we need to immediately position, which was of course also my thought on the Chancellor, but Hannibal did bring up a good candidate. We will in the longer term need a warden, since we tend to have a large number of random groups of people pushing in and not announcing themselves, such as the Nagaraja. And in case for those who know that, we have some Nagaraja in town.
Dear Prince Harris,
Yes?
speak. Thank you. Isn't that the sort of overcomplication? Don't we already have a Scourge lined up to take care of such problems?
A scourge is basically there to deal with individuals. When we have a larger group of people showing up, that's what the warden is for. We don't, at the moment, really have, say, very close borders with groups of anarchs or the Sabbat, but given the nature of certain incursions we've had in the past, I believe a warden might serve to keep to be useful. Now, of course, if
Are you referring to how a lovely Mr. Charles Duncan was savagely dethroned of his innards as well under the previous prince's protection?
yes, that also would be
His
that
name
would
was
also
Charles
be
McGowan.
yes, Charles McGowan. He would.
No, go on.
Charles McGowan's death would definitely be something that we would also have the warden deal with. Also, if certain groups decide to return to Kings Park, that would also be something we'd have the warden, at the very least, keep us aware of.
Well, if I remember it very finely, it was you yourself, the prince, that took it upon himself to, well, if not intentionally, very unintentionally found that.
Well, we've got. Honestly, what I was doing before I was Prince was investigating certain things that could be potential masquerade breaches. And then we happened to stumble into a bunch of dead blue pines in their holy ground. So, right now it seems that some of our potential threats have, well, pretty much gotten themselves killed one way or another, but not all of them.
No. Isn't there some voodoo magic one can do about that? Now, keeping track on certain locations?
There are many different methods one could attempt that. The exact details vary.
Huh.
But yeah, this is a position that I don't think we need to fill immediately, but I think we would be well served in considering in the long term.
I'm pretty sure there are one or two among Clan Gangrel who would bite each other's ears off for that kind of honor.
Possibly.
Hopefully.
Perhaps someone could enlighten this Zimnik gentle person, but why are the Gangrel favored above the Nagaraja?
Well, for one thing, all of the Gangrel that have entered the city have said, "Hey, I'm here."
And
The
also, they're not suspected to be with the spot. I mean, that's kind of a big thing.
The Nagaraja, at least according to what I've heard, usually seem to be aligned with Zabat. So...
Is that general practical wisdom, or just them there hearsay and rumors you hear about?
Oh, you got better information, boy?
If you've got better information, feel free.
I do not have better information, but if we're just going to be giving out seeds, I want to know what's being given away, and to whom.
Well, as I said, not is it simply because the Gangrel have currently more numbers in the city than some other clans that hold Primogen seats, but I have personally seen and I've heard and I've had relayed to me that all of the Gangrel in the city are working to better the city. The Nagaraja, I had to hear about their arrival secondhand, and they have not done anything to say, "Oh, by the way, we wish to join your city and follow all of your traditions."
There you go, boy. Take good thinking. You did the right thing.
Out of character, was that directed at Hannibal?
Or who were you referring to as boy?
Yeah.
There's no right answer. Some are worse than others. I think he's got the entire room staring at him now. Because he's the only... Well, he's one of two neonates present. I was like, what the fuck did you just say to me?
I'm gonna cut you, bitch. Well, anyway, I've already made some incursions into the suspected territory of the Nagaraja. I'm pretty sure I will come up with details of their locations soon enough.
Oh. That will be helpful. I know I'd hoped to meet with the sheriff beforehand, so at least he'd be aware. Oh, hey, by the way, we've got a couple members of a bloodline here that haven't bothered to even say hi, and they're also a bloodline that tends to be associated with the Sabbat. So
At this stage, Rafat would smile and say, "I have taken the liberty of filling in a few of the details," and he'll open up a briefcase. He'll take out a couple of pages long dossier and hand it to the prince, and then there's like smaller ones for everyone else. Basically, it's all the crap cut out, the bullet points, and hands them round. I encourage a member of my clan to do a little bit of digging around. It seems that indeed this Nagaraj is not alone, unless we have a member of the Samadi bloodline walking around. And you can see there's a rather gruesome-looking rotted corpse in one of the pictures who has been picking up well, you can see in the picture loading 3 bodies into the back of a van. They've been taking these from a funeral parlor which has, well, it's got a crematorium, but it's have been running on hard times, and it seems this Nagaraj has been collecting there at irregular points during the week, but every Saturday night. So we're in luck. I've filled in the sheriff with the full dossier, which I believe he's reviewing currently.
excellent.
I PM'd him about it, and well, if we have some people in place tonight, if the sheriff is willing to move on it, then hopefully we will be able to backtrack and start dealing with this threat.
Busy bee you've been, as he kind of looks through the photos and the dossier.
Mr. Archer, although is still a neonate, is extremely skilled at his field.
Ah, I see.
He had to go through.
Doesn't need empathy to see that Hannibal doesn't read like this.
Yeah, he unfortunately had to go through quite a large amount of information. Apparently, 70% of the funerals in Perth aren't burials but cremations.
Huh.
Which is perfect cover for the Nagaraj, at least, which shows why we didn't notice them for quite some time.
Yes. Well, that is very useful information. And
I guess we got something to go after.
oh yeah, and he flips through to check, if we've got the details on the crematorium.
There's details on the crematorium, including about 4 months ago, a little while after there's missing files from the video and stuff's been doctored. It had gotten minorly sued, and basically business got down. It was coming to financial trouble. Then things have just been going up since then. They've obviously either had a stroke of good luck, or things have been going up the last while, and it's working out well for them.
Okay, well, we've got quite a lot to go on now. So, we've got, and yeah, if we know they're going to be here tonight, let's just say that anyone who does, anyone who aids in this, either directly during any confrontations or with useful information such as this, will definitely be rewarded. And if it comes to a situation where we're likely to deal in combat, it would, I think, it would be useful to call in the call in Abdul Fattah, because he apparently has some personal issues with them. Speaking of Abdul Fattah, I've already recognized him as a member, and his de facto domain is de jure. However, he wishes us to ban the Giovanni from the city. In exchange, once we've finished dealing with the Nagaraja, he will teach 2 members of 2 different clans necromancy.
Ugh, what a vile and disgusting trade.
Well, let me put it this way. Which would you rather have, the Giovanni or someone in here who can do what the Giovanni does?
Uh, I will not be learning this, but I agree to the trade.
I have previously said one of the people potentially could be the sheriff. It would help speed up his investigations at points rather than having to go to an outside source for such skills.
Or the Scourge.
Potentially both.
Yes. If for some reason neither one of them wishes to learn it, which I can understand, perhaps those who show themselves to be exceptionally useful in dealing with this might accept that as part of their rewards.
Seems agreeable.
And since it seems no one has any real strong objections to closing the door to Clan Giovanni, then
Oh no, keep those incestuous bastards out of here.
all right. Well, then
I
it
don't
seems
think-
that
I
After-
don't reckon think that this town needs more than one banking affiliation, as he gives Nero gives an evil eye to the venture Primogen.
Okay, what the fuck did he just say? I can't make out.
Sorry. It's a little early for me.
Okay.
He said, I don't think that this there city needs more than one of the bacon persuasion. While giving an evil eye to the Ventru Primogen.
Press is kind of looking at Jonathan. Just like I think his eye were good. Like everything's like you see Ravet's gradually getting more annoyed with Bagger's presence as the meeting goes on. Is like, seriously, we need to get a new Toreador. But you don't have to use telepathy. You know he's just kind of going like, I wish they'd send somebody else because he's just fucking insulting my allies.
Hannibal would just look at Nero. Okay.
well. Yes, I do believe that the current members of Clan Ventru have the financial areas very well in hand.
Shall we move on to another bit of business? I have two proposals to be discussed.
Oh,
I think I
God,
have
please.
some there. One, both of these are regarding goals. One, I propose that obviously with amnesty tying existing cases, but potentially those who have not at least gained the position of neonate not be allowed have ghouls. They haven't proven responsible enough. Bringing a ghoul is a potential masquerade breach waiting to happen, and those who have not proven at least be neonates might not be responsible enough to take on the burden.
That sounds absolutely sensible to me. Fledglings are always kind of a tricky business anyway. Would you go as far, Mr. Dutter, that every member of this court and this domain should have to report the number of his ghouls and the name, so when they leave or get disposed of in some way or another, we could track them down more easily to secure the masquerade?
I believe my ideas have gotten through the grapevine here. That was the second but separate notion. But yes, that members of clans identified to their Primogen Council contact details. To remember, if they are not represented by somebody under Primogen Council, because they are of some exotic bloodline looking towards the future, that they might be able to say to the sheriff, or if a member of the Primogen Council is willing to take on the details.
Oh, absolutely. I think, as Senescal, I should at least keep track of those informations and hand them over to my prince.
Well, I was saying towards the Primogen, not necessarily towards the Prince there and Seneschal. Clans might get a bit nervous on that count.
What
They want to keep their own details to themselves.
what
No,
if
that-
it's the Primogen that goes missing? What then?
Well, then they should have informed their hand how they can get their hands on the information.
Well, I remember a case in the city where Primogen and the hand.
Well, in that case, there are actually a couple modern solutions. There are certain situations in which where you can set up an email to be sent to certain individuals, unless unless one or two individuals checked in on it at least. Could be once a day, could be once a week, depending on the severity of certain measures.
That is entirely possible, but not the safest of all methods.
No, but I believe it could provide. I believe it could provide clans with a feeling that they're not being fully spied on, while also giving the rest of the domain a certain measure of feeling of safety.
Noble leans back and looks over to Mr. Dutta. And just stares at him for a moment. Well, this is, of course, the decision of you, my prince, and the Primogen Council as a whole, but I think a more centralized information about at least the names and the number, there need to be no details about it, is safer.
Well, as to the full details on that, I think I can tell that the Primogen Council here, at least in principle, accepts the idea, but the details need to be hammered out.
That's where the devil usually lies.
So, my suggestion, if the Primogen Council chooses to follow it, is at the very least make certain that the hands in Primogen of the clans are aware of the various goals held by members of their clans, and that if they wish to, because at least that much we can all agree on. And go ahead.
I just had a notion. Obviously, Seneschal Hannibal has some sensible solutions. However, I don't want to make people feel like I'm trying to foist this information on about them. And the clans, of course, want to keep their own security and such. However, if you're worried regarding Clan Tremere, what I will do is, once I have gathered this information, I will forward on the details to Lord Remington, and in the event that I die, if the Prince or Seneschal contact him, he can forward on the details here. There we
Lord
go.
Remington is the former Primogen and Elder, right?
No, he was the Primogen for what? Yeah, he's actually he's higher. He's not in the city anymore, but
Okay.
he's some bigwig in the.
Well, that's a respectable name. I can hardly refuse that, can I? Looking over to Rafat, smirking.
Perhaps other clans might make similar arrangements, or, as you suggested, perhaps if they cannot make such arrangements towards the Seneschal or Sheriff or some such.
You sneaky fucker, you.
So now you're potentially after landing your entire clan, having to hand over all the details on their ghouls, while the Tremere get away scot-free because you pressed the matter. Have fun!
The Toreador are more than capable of looking after our own stock and seeing through those that wish to not release their full information. So we shall suffer as we always have.
A clan Toreador is certainly capable of many things.
One of them not being able to keep its damn mouth shut.
What did you say?
One of Toreador's most illustrious benefits is that it cannot keep its mouth shut.
Yeah, I absolutely agree on that.
Primogen Bagger, perhaps you could...
I think
You're
what
obviously
you're doing is
very-
highly disrespectful and antagonizing people sitting at the table. We're trying to have a meeting, not a piss fight.
aptly said. I suppose I was going to sugarcoat things a bit more.
Edible. Oh, I have enough.
With no disrespect, of course. It's just sometimes people need to know when to be quiet.
I'm sure Mr. Bagger didn't mean it.
That I am sitting in has been paid for. I shall speak when I am allowed to speak, as per the preview of the prince. If the prince wishes me to shut my darn yap, I'd like to hear it from the prince.
Hannibal is looking over to the prince.
What a shocked expression.
Yeah.
Awful sarcasm.
Leon just sort of grinning and saying, "It is... You are, of course, the representative of your clan, until such time as the members of your clan decide their needs will be better met by another. Or,
What's that?
or now, I have no wish to muzzle one of my Primogen Council in a Primogen Council session.
Well, should we? Yeah, of course, a Primogen, Mr. Bagger. Your voice is appreciated in here. Isn't it?
Coming from one as you, Hannibal, I deeply appreciate that everyone likes to hear me speak.
Can I take the vengeful floor now?
No, you can't, but if you want to fuck him up, go for it.
Hannibal will, his piss yellow eyes will rest on Bagger for a moment. And there's something like a smirk on his face, on this disgusting, pus-infested face. Ah, you give wise counsel. And then he just leans back. Was there anything else we need to discuss? In open.
Not that I have to bring to the table. He looks around at first Halliwell, and he knows obviously Hannibal doesn't want to have anything more to say. And then he looks at Bagger, just seeing if anybody's got anything more to raise.
Lips are shut.
Well, I do know at some point later we'll have to have a meeting with between three Primogen to finalize certain details.
I'm looking forward to it.
But at the moment, James Pierce is somewhat indisposed, so we'll have to wait till he becomes more available. But beyond that,
Out of character, who's James Pierce again?
he's the other Malkavian, and he's currently the Malkavian Primogen.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, sorry.
He's the really creepy one.
Wait, there's a non-creepy
Oh no, he's super. Harris is a fucking puppy dog.
Oh, it's Med Parson. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one. Now you know what we mean. Harris is lovely by comparison. Harris is actually generally quite nice, but Pierce is just—he's so nice. Oh God, I don't want to die.
Okay, come back on track.
Well, it seems the wider discussion is settled.
Yes.
We've been quite productive, and it hasn't taken too long, so we can all get up to our other sections of the nightly games.
Mm-hmm.
Once Halliwell and Bagger have left, and it's just the Prince, the Seneschal, and the Primogen. I'll say, unfortunately, Seneschal Hannibal, the events of the previous night from whence the Harbinger of Skulls, I cannot sit and simply do nothing.
Yeah, it's really good that you bring it up. I didn't want to talk about it in front of the entire Primogen Council.
As well.
I realized that my actions might have been a bit abrasive and intrusive, and quite frankly rude. I think that's the best word to describe it. So, I want to apologize for me trying to get into that pretty head of yours. I realize that was not the right call to make, and I hope you accept my apology for this.
I was hoping that you would give me your assurances, firstly, that you would refrain from doing any such actions towards myself or other members of Clan Tremere. The other clans, of course, can stand up for themselves. And, well, perhaps as a show of good faith, a minor boon would be in order. Of course, there are other options I'd considered.
Pardon me?
Well, if you wish me to go into details of yours, have you ever heard of a blood contract?
No, but it doesn't sound like I would like it.
I don't think you would at all, but it would ensure that you stick by the terms. I can have such a thing arranged. And no boon would be needed in such an eventuality.
Alright, let me get this straight here for a moment. There will be no blood contract, whatever the hell that is.
Oh, that's quite alright if you don't want to...
Besides, when it comes to the minor boon being paid, I'm not quite sure for what.
You attempted to look into my mind. I must assure my superiors that you are completely sincere in this, and the boon will be a show of good faith that you might not be trying to wrest any of the secrets of Clan Tremere from my mind. They can be very protective about such information.
Well, not that I found any secrets worth telling.
I'm quite glad to hear that. As I said, we can go that route, or, well, the blood contract I understand you're not keen on. But if I can't convince my superiors, then it will have to be considered. Have you ever heard of the Thaumaturgical Blacklist?
It sounds like something really bad.
Oh, well, no, it wouldn't have any direct negative impact. It would just be a case of your name would be circulated towards the other chantries, and unfortunately the downside of this would be if your name were to end up, which is not guaranteed, but if your name was on it, then you could not barter for any kind of thaumaturgical aid. A Tremere will be free to help you in other respects, but not by the means of thaumaturgy. Although if you have other suggestions yourself, I'm willing to hear, as long as I can convince my the higher ups in the pyramid.
Hannibal bites his lip here. Sits up again. I hate blackmail. I really do.
I'm willing to hear other options. But as I said, they're merely an apology in and of itself. I have given you 3 options. If you wish to discuss others...
No. That's quite alright. You're being very reasonable. Very fair. I appreciate that.
I'd rather if we went with an option that didn't have long sightings. Let me elaborate further. If I were to be given a minor boon from yourself, as you understand, I have the Clan of Tremere has a outstanding minor boon towards Prince Harris. If he was willing, I would immediately trade that boon. So be cleared from the Tremere side, and you would in fact end up owing the boon to Prince Harris, which you might or might not, depending on your own proclivities, find this more acceptable.
Oh, so tempted to read your mind.
What if you do? Come on, go for it, man. You're totally fucked. You know we're both going to pick up on it.
Um,
Do you want to
No.
do perception empathy?
yeah, I want to do
Yeah,
perception.
go for
empathy.
perception empathy. Yeah, I'm going to have to roll for Rafat. Not subterfuge. I'm rolling expression. I really want to get it across to you. My hands are tied. Dear God, man, help me.
Alright. Like those. One success.
Spending a willpower. Actually, not going to spend a willpower point for the title to come in. Let's see. So, rolling.
Wow.
Yeah. No, it's pretty clear that Rafat is trying to get across to you. He actually has to do something. His hands are actually, he's actually being sincere. He has to do something. I would rather, obviously, more for his own political convenience later on, not have you on that blacklist. So he's very much trying to push the option of just, look, you take over that minor boon, you swear you're never going to do it again, and we can move on from this and fucking forget about it. Because he doesn't want to put you on that blacklist, because you might also be picking up because he got the 2 successes. He hasn't said it, but he probably can't take you off that.
Hannibal, thoughts for a moment.
Of course, we can discuss other options.
Well, if my prince, if you're willing to go that route, that the boon owing to Rafat Duta or the representative Primogen of Clan Tremere would be transferred to you, I would be happy for that, to do that.
Oh, that sounds like a simple way to deal with this, and it seems that Rafat would be perfectly happy with this, and Hannibal would be perfectly happy with this, so I'm also perfectly happy with this.
Smooth things over, let us...
Do I need to make a pinky swear or something?
Well, you indicating you're giving the word before the prince. I don't think between gentlemen such as ourselves we have to do anything more than that.
Yeah.
I don't need any blood contract on those terms. The blood contract is something I'd rather not get involved in myself on these nights, especially since I wouldn't be doing it up.
Good, then this is how we do it.
All
And
right.
the matter is forgotten and never to be brought up again.
I will not be spreading around. However, I hope other people don't have this kind of thing come up in future. We'll have to come to arrangements. But I know that a momentary thing that will be forgotten about.
I'll make sure to let people know that the Tremere they appreciate their privacy.
As do the Nosferatu.
Yeah, but no one's come and go sniffing after us. Shiny shoes.
I hope I'm able to get our hands on the sheriff before too long, and hopefully we'll have more good news for the court.
Oh, yes.
Thank you for your time, my prince, and congratulations, my seneschal. Rafat does actually, but he's actually this is full-on respectful bow because you are the seneschal.
Hannibal actually kind of get up himself. Why, thank you for that, Keeper of Elysium. I hope I can see you there soon and expect your hospitality in your chosen Elysium.
Of course, I believe that Halliwell has done excellent work. I will likely be naming him as a sword for all the work he did towards the airport. With that much work, it would be a shame for it to go to naught.
Yes.
Good.
Thank you for your time, and he'll bow once more before leaving.
Yeah, that's it.
Hannibal turns once Rafat is gone, turns over to Prince Leon. I Anyway, this was rather successful.
Oh yeah. No, pretty much. The honestly, I'm just kind of wishing Creel had made it, but well,
I'm sure, since we're all being very reasonable here, and Creed is a reasonable person,
yes, Creel is a reasonable person.
things would
So,
have gone as expected. He might have knocked Bagger out of his pants, but
well, he's a bit more. Let's just say he's got a better hold over himself than Stoneheart did.
oh, what a shame.
But yeah. Anyways, now we gotta make sure we can get all the people to deal with the Nagaraja. And I think I will be showing up to that, since at the very least, that way any survivors can explain themselves to me.
Do you want me to make a public declaration, my prince, concerning the Nagaraja?
Well, at the moment, I think the only public declaration is we would like to have some of them not meet their final death so that they can answer for their actions.
I'll let people know.
All right.
Well, I think there's a lot we both need to do now.
Oh, yes.
If there's nothing else, my prince, I would take my leave with your permission.
Of course.
Hannibal stands up, which doesn't really make a huge difference in his height, as he gives the prince a bow
That's
and leaves.
all right. And